Hey there, you beautiful thinkers. If you could only pick one, would you choose the land of the free, the land of tea, or the land down under? Tough choice, right? Today, we're diving into a showdown between the United States, the United Kingdom, and Australia. These three countries might share a language, but their differences are shocking, and what you discover might just change your travel plans forever. From sprawling landscapes to cultural quirks, get ready for some serious myth-busting. Let's see which country comes out on top. All right, let's kick things off with a good old-fashioned numbers game. Population, the foundation of every country. Australia, often romanticized as this vast, empty paradise, is actually home to a surprisingly small population, 25.5 million. That's right, less than some Asian megacities. The UK packs in a bit more, nearing 68 million, which is still dwarfed by the US, clocking in at a massive 330 million. But hold on, because here's where it gets interesting. Despite its size, Australia boasts a population density that's almost comical, a mere 3 people per square kilometre. Imagine that, 3 whole people to share a square kilometre with. Compare that to the UK, where you're practically bumping elbows with 271 people per square kilometre. You can practically smell what your neighbour's having for tea. And while the US might feel like a crowded house in its bustling cities, its average density is a more manageable 34 per square kilometre. Now let's talk about life expectancy, because who doesn't want to live a long, happy life? Australia sneaks in as the winner here with an average life expectancy of 82.4 years, edging out both the UK and the US. But don't count the UK out just yet. Their population is aging the fastest, with an average age over 40. Now I know what you're thinking, John. This is just the tip of the iceberg, isn't it? And you would be absolutely right. This is just a taste of the fascinating demographic differences we're about to uncover. Okay, folks, time to break out those maps because we're going global. On a map, the UK might look like it's holding its own, but trust me, it's absolutely dwarfed by the sheer scale of Australia and the US. We're talking 242,000 square kilometres for the UK, which is practically pocket-sized compared to Australia's sprawling 7.7 million square kilometres. And the US? Well, they're the reigning champs of landmass with over 9.2 million square kilometres. But here's a mind-blowing fact to really put things in perspective. Western Australia, just one state in Australia, is a whopping 12 times larger than the entire UK. And guess what? Barely anyone lives there. Talk about space to roam. Now, let's talk trees. You might be surprised to learn that the US takes the cake when it comes to forests, with a full third of its land covered in leafy goodness. The UK, on the other hand, lags behind at a measly 12%. And speaking of surprises, let's have a little chat about those world maps you've been relying on. Newsflash, most maps are lying to you. They distort country sizes, making the UK look way bigger and Australia way smaller than they actually are. It's all a matter of perspective, my friends. The truth is, Australia and the US are absolute behemoths when it comes to size. So next time you're looking at a map, take it with a grain of salt. The world is full of surprises. Let's be real, folks. Money talks. And in this showdown, the US is practically shouting from the rooftops. With a GDP north of $20 trillion, it's the undisputed heavyweight champion of the global economy. But don't worry, the UK isn't throwing in the towel just yet. They're still holding their own with a respectable $3 trillion. Australia, however, trails behind at $1.3 trillion. But here's the twist. GDP per capita tells a slightly different story. While the US still reigns supreme, Australia isn't far behind, leaving the UK unexpectedly trailing in their dust. But let's dig a little deeper, shall we? Because beneath these shiny GDP figures lies a whole lot of drama. Recent inflation spikes have been rocking all three countries, leading to cost of living protests erupting in the streets of London, Sydney, and New York. It seems like nobody is safe from the rising cost of, well, everything. And as if inflation wasn't enough, wage gaps and economic inequality are hot-button issues fueling fiery debates and political promises on all sides. It's a tangled web of economic realities, and frankly, it's enough to make your head spin. Now let's get real, folks, because when it comes to quality of life, the picture isn't always rosy. We're talking about the nitty-gritty, the stuff that really matters. And unfortunately, obesity rates are on the rise in all three countries, with the US leading the pack at a staggering 36%. The UK and Australia aren't far behind, raising some serious questions about diet, health education, and the ever-present allure of fast food. Let's just say those supersized portions aren't doing anyone any favors. And speaking of health, let's talk healthcare. It's a topic that sparks endless debate, and for good reason. The UK takes pride in its public healthcare system, but let's be honest, it's feeling the strain. Australia, with its notoriously tight immigration rules, boasts more hospital beds per person, but critics argue that this statistic doesn't tell the whole story. Meanwhile, whispers of healthcare crises and political battles over funding are swirling in all three nations. It seems like finding affordable quality healthcare is a universal struggle. So, is the grass really greener on the other side? It's a question that haunts many, and the answer, my friends, is far more complex than it seems. All right, let's dive into the fun stuff. Culture. From tea and crumpets in the UK to backyard barbecues in Australia and those supersized sodas in the US, each country has a distinct flavour, but beneath those charming stereotypes lies a whole lot of complexity. Immigration policies, for instance, are a hotbed of debate in both Australia and the UK, while the US grapples with its own border controversies. It seems like finding a balance between welcoming newcomers and preserving national identity is a challenge faced by many, and let's not forget about the power of pop culture. From viral TikToks to celebrity scandals, these three countries are constantly in the global spotlight. Every headline, every tweet, every meme shapes public opinion, sparking online arguments and fueling late-night talk show jokes. It's a constant cultural exchange, for better or for worse. So while we might chuckle at those funny accents and quirky customs, it's important to remember that culture is a living, breathing thing, constantly evolving and shaping the way we see the world. Now let's get real for a moment. No country is perfect, and these three are no exception. Recent elections in all three nations have been marked by protests, accusations of wrongdoing, and enough political drama to rival a season of House of Cards. It seems like political division and distrust in leadership are universal themes. And speaking of things that keep you up at night, crime rates and public safety are hot-button issues everywhere. Sensational headlines about crime waves and social unrest grab our attention, making us question the safety of our streets and the effectiveness of law enforcement. But wait, there's more. Environmental disasters like the devastating wildfires ravaging Australia and the US, or the ongoing pollution debates in the UK, add fuel to the fire. It's a stark reminder that we're all connected to this planet and its fate. And beneath these immediate challenges lies a looming question: what does the future hold? Will these countries rise to the occasion and tackle these challenges head-on, or will their problems continue to fester and grow? Only time will tell. So, here we are, folks, at the ultimate crossroads. We've crunched the numbers, explored the landscapes, delved into the economies, and confronted the challenges. Now the question remains: which country would you choose? Would you be drawn to Australia's wide-open spaces, its laid-back lifestyle, and its promise of adventure? Or would you be enchanted by the UK's rich history, its charming villages, and its vibrant cultural scene? Perhaps the US, with its boundless opportunities, its melting pot of cultures, and its undeniable energy, calls to you. The truth is, there's no right or wrong answer. Each country has its own unique allure, its own set of strengths and weaknesses, its own story to tell. The choice, my friends, is entirely yours. What matters most is that you weigh the pros and cons, consider your own values and priorities, and make an informed decision that feels right for you. Because at the end of the day, the best country is the one where you can thrive, contribute, and create a life you're proud of. 3 countries, 3 destinies, each with its own story, struggles, and strengths. The choice is yours. Let us know in the comments, where would you go and why? And while you're at it, tell us which countries or cities we should compare next. If you learned something new, hit like and subscribe. The next surprise might be just a click away.